Hello. So this one's gonna be a little bit of a fun one. So if you see the icon on the left side of the screen, this was done when I was live during my stream anniversary, so around a week ago. Everything's a little bit outdated. Obviously, we hit our RP giveaway. We're well over 200 subs. I'll give information about that later in this video. But for this video, it's basically just gonna be like a caretaker's ally video. So for those that don't know, I'll talk about it when we get there a little bit more. But it's Scuttle Puddle, and and I end up taking Caretakers because the first augment was a silver augment, and I thought it would be fun, right? Caretakers is an augment that is you could high roll it, you could low roll it. The average on it is pretty okay. It's not that bad, so it's not like unclickable. And here, if we look at my start, I do have a couple generic items, right? I have a sword, I have a bow, I have a tear, I have a rod. Right, I pretty much have like one of everything in terms of offensive components, which is a really nice start. I'm holding on to fortune units because maybe I can play fortune. It's Scuttle Puddle, so expect like a lot of boards are going to cap really high. So it's going to be like very difficult, or like it's going to be difficult if you low roll in this game. So you typically want to be like as like brutal with your augments choice as possible. You usually want to just pick like really strong combat and stuff to make sure that you have a certain level of strength, because the lobby can sway very wildly based on like the units that people hit, because they'll have the gold in order to cap out their board really high. Alright, so let's see augment choice, and then we'll look at some stats for a little bit just to show you like what my thought process was. So augments 2-1. Also, for anybody who's new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. Also, for subscribers, there is a giveaway, which is the what's it called? The RP giveaway by joining the Discord. So if you're a subscriber and you join the Discord and you enter the giveaway, that ends in a couple days, so you still have some time to join. So here I take Caretakers. It gives me a YORICK. I level and I have a YORICK too. So already this is a pretty good start. So Caretakers, I kind of high rolled that I hit a unit that I already have, so I just don't have two random copies of some other unit. I hit YORICK. In my opinion, YORICK isn't necessarily the best one. I would probably make Redemption here, because I already have the YORICK too. I should make Redemption. Yeah. Come on, you can do it. Yes, that's the Fenrir I know. That's the good shit when I play well. Alright, so because stage 2, I'll probably like win. I probably won't win streak most of the stage because YORICK isn't that strong on his own, especially without Behemoth in. Ooh, I make a Gwynsu. Oh, I think I'm thinking of like just playing like AD flex and playing towards Ashe. But yeah. Alright. Let's go to stats. So I punched in here just Caretaker's ally in general. Caretaker's ally is like kind of okay. As you can see, it's kind of average on the stats. If we just go on augments and we just look at silver augments in general and go by placement, there are a lot of better options, right? I could have taken Band of Thieves. Band of Thieves is like one of the best ones just because it gives a Thieves Gloves. You might think that Thieves Gloves isn't that strong, but the reason it's strong is because relative to other silver augments, it puts you up like 2 whole items, which is without really much repercussions, which is why it's a very good augment to take, if that makes sense. It's not like Thieves Gloves is the most broken item in the game. It's because relative to other silver augments, it gives you the most, or it gives you quite a bit, which is why it usually averages very high. And as you can look, it's kind of like right down in the middle. Like a 4.5 is like an average, right? It's somewhere around here. We saw it as like a 4.42, I think. So it's somewhere here, Caretakers. But it's not like the worst thing. A lot of these other ones, like team building, for example, is usually pretty bad because you usually want, like, if you're playing a reroll, you want combat. If you watch the reroll guide and you're watching this video, I didn't really go over augments really deeply because the video is already quite long, just going over like general game plans. But like typically if you're taking like these type of things, like to help you hit your units, then it's usually pretty bad, and branching out you can miss really hard on. If we look at in terms of like the units for Caretakers, well, we can look in terms of the units in general, right? Of all of these units, I feel like 2 costs are in a pretty good spot because you can play around a lot of them, right? Aatrox is pretty okay. right? It's a front line. Aatrox's probably the lowest roll one, I would say. Gnar, if you have items for it, you can play Gnar. Janna, if you have items for Janna, you can. Janna's probably one of the best ones you can hit. Kindred, Lux, Nico's a little bit bad. Kiana's you can play around. You can play around Riven now. There's Riven reroll comps. I haven't had a chance to play on the new patch right now, but I've been seeing some Rivens popping off. Senna you can play around. Shen you can play around. Don't play Ghostly this patch until they fix it. Ghostly is bugged, by the way. But you know, if it's not bugged, you can play around Shen. Teemo you can play around. Yorick kind of like, he's like a frontline unit. It's kind of like whatever. And Zyra is really good. So of all of them, there's like a lot of them that are really good. The only ones that I think are kind of low roll is like Aatrox, Nico, and honestly like Yorick a little bit, because Yorick isn't that tanky a lot of the time, especially if you don't have the hero augment. Right? Like if you go Caretaker's ally and you go like units and you sort by delta, like a lot of the ones that are really good are those ones that cap really high, and a lot of the ones that fit on the Janna board, so like Riven, Zyra, Janna, then also like Teemo, Kiana also does really well, right? So there's what I'm trying to say is that like there's not a lot that you can miss with. There's some that you can miss with, right? Obviously, like I hit the Yorick. I even naturaled 2 more Yoricks here. So I'm definitely hitting Yorick 3. The good thing about having a front line with Caretakers, here I level just because I'm trying to keep my tempo of like winning out, right? It's probably just play Thresh, honestly. I should just play Thresh. Thresh and Shop. I play Kiana? Why did I play Kiana? I should have just played Thresh. Anyways. The main thing that I want to say is that it's like a little bit of for fun because you can miss, right? The biggest miss you can have with Caretakers is when you have mismatched items, right? Here I have a Yorick too, but I was able to slam Redemption on the Yorick because I had like an item that I had very flexible items, right? I had pretty much one of each component, right? And I had a decent item opener, so it was actually quite strong to take Caretakers because I could flexibly make the unit work. A lot of other times you pick Caretakers, you get some random ass unit and you have no items for it, so then it doesn't even matter that you have an upgraded version of that unit, because a lot of your early game until you get to like a late game situation, the unit pretty much does nothing and you can't really play around it, right? That would be an example. Like let's say you hit like Gnar but you have no Gnar items. It's like it doesn't matter that you have like a Gnar 2 on your board. You need to get like the healing and the tankiness on the Gnar in order for the Gnar to actually like pop off and do anything useful for your team. So take it with caution. This isn't a video to say like Caretakers is the best thing ever, it's so strong. It's more so like you know, it's one of the fun augments that can make you be a little bit creative. Like, you know, that you play a little bit of that gambling music in your head and you just kind of take it, but it's actually not like as bad as it might look, right? Because there's very few things that you can miss with. There's a lot of like good hits, so to speak, because the 2 costs are in like a pretty good spot. I'm not sure how 2 costs are gonna play out this patch because they did a little bit of the 4 cost nerfs. Usually, like when you have this many 2 costs that are like really strong, a lot of times like the meta just turns completely degenerate and everybody's just re-rolling on stage 3 and hitting like giga strong boards early. Like that's something that happens a lot, right? I like it when there's like a couple good reroll comps, but they keep like buffing 2 costs. Like every patch they're like, oh, let's make one of these 2 costs rerollable, and it's like at one point, like, you know, if they do enough small nerfs to 4 cost, like they did like an odds nerf to 4 cost already this patch, right, to deal with like the 3-star 4 cost thing. It doesn't seem to change much from what I've been seeing people playing, but like it just changes like the max cap, like making the board a little bit different. But like I'm serious, like if this shit like there might be a patch during this set where like everybody just re-rolling 2 costs. Like there's a chance that happens because I feel like 2 costs are in a really good spot, especially since aren't most of the hero augments also 2 costs, right? There's Nico, there's Shen, there's Yorick. Something that's funny about this was during my stream anniversary, the game right before this game, I took the Yorick hero augment and I low rolled on the Yorick because Yorick was exalted, and I just didn't hit a single I didn't hit Yorick 3, and I didn't hit like a single Yorick for like 2 whole stages, even after rolling. And I went 5th. So it's kind of funny that the game right after, it's almost like a taunt, and I was talking about it on stream a lot, because it's like I literally just like take caretakers because I'm like, fuck it, I want a fun game, because I've been streaming for a while today, and yeah, and then I just get Yorick. I did natural the other Yoricks, which is really good, so I'm actually really close to Yorick 3. Whenever you take caretakers, basically you want to natural, you get 1 per level, right? So if you get 1 per level, 1 per 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies. So you usually want a natural 4 copies, right? And I already naturaled my 4 copies. As you can see, I'm level 6. Right now, I'm level 6 with 7 Yoricks. So that means if I go level 8, right? So if I go level 7, I gain +1 Yorick. If I go level 8, I gain +1 Yorick, which means I'll have 9 Yorick. So I'll have Yorick 3 on when I'm level 8, right? Something that works out really well for me is that Yorick is exalted in this game. So exalted is the trait. It shows up here. It gives you 1 XP per round, but it also gives you damage based on the level that you are. So it's really good for playing like flexible boards late game. A lot of times it's hard to fit in exalted early unless it like fits in nicely with your comp or you're specifically playing around it. In this case, I can play around the exalted nicely because I'm always gonna have this Yorick 3 on my board basically, right? Because my caretakers. So I'm trying to play around a behemoth, front line, and then fit in some sort of like flexible backline. I think like Thresh and Syndra are also like exalted or something, or at least Syndra is. So I'm thinking like I can play Yorick, Thresh, and something else. In terms of like my augment choice, I took a combat augment now, right? Ideally, in like the perfect world, you can hit like a really strong board, and like anybody can high roll into a strong board. The augments, you usually never want to take augments that don't immediately like either make you strong or immediately like help out your board by a lot. You know what I mean? You want to take combat augments because they make you really, really strong for late game, and they scale well into late game, right? Because the only difference between 2 really strong boards, like imagine if we're both level 9, we both have every single unit we can dream of, and we just plot them on the board. When you fight somebody, the thing that's going to be the determining factor is the combat augment in that case. So a lot of times you don't want to take, like even taking caretakers, right? Some people will just hit a Yorick 3 on their own while playing the game, right? This Yorick 3 has to be like strong enough to be like comparable to a combat augment, which you probably won't be because it's a Yorick, right? I think there's like some better choices. Like for example, if I had a Janna's really good because then when you play like that Janna board, one of the hardest parts of the Janna board, the Janna reroll board, which is really strong, is to hit the Janna and have enough gold to go 9. But if you have Janna as your caretakers, the reason Janna's so good is because you'll have a free Janna 3 and you'll be able to go 9, right? And if you go 9, you can just play all the other Dragon Lords and all the other Sages and all the other like fucking 5 costs, and you'll be like insanely strong, right? So that's why some of them are like better than others. A lot of times the caretakers, the choices that are the best are the ones that are comparable to like a combat augment in the sense that it allows you to have so many resources because it's like a unit that you usually see on a final board or sometimes see on a final board, right? Like for example, even Riven, right? Riven is Altruist and Bruiser. A lot of times you'll see the Riven be played on a final board, right? So having a 3-star version of that unit makes it like really good. Yorick, you rarely see on a final board, right? A lot of times people aren't really looking at Yorick and thinking, yes, this is a strong unit that I need for this synergy for my final board, right? A lot of times Yorick is played like situationally in certain comps, but it's not always played, right? So for me, I'm just kind of building towards AP items. I think in this exalted, Teemo and Caitlyn are both exalted. So you can play towards Sniper, or you can play towards Trick Shot. So my Trick Shot items aren't really good. I don't really like playing towards Trick Shot in this case because I feel like Trick Shot's a very weird comp in the sense that you need to how do I phrase it? You need to like hit everything and go 9, right? A lot of people describe Trick Shot the same way they describe Disco, right? If you remember Disco in last set, or if you didn't play last set, basically there's a comp called Disco, and it was kind of funny because it was a comp that used a bunch of 4 costs, and you needed to like basically like you needed to tempo early, right? Because you need to have enough gold to roll on 8 for all of these 4 costs. You had to be really strong early and have a bunch of health. You couldn't play it from behind. You had to play it from like a win streak, right? Then not only that, it had all these 4 costs which were really expensive, and the comp often went 5th because if you didn't get to level 9 and you didn't get like certain 5 costs on your board, namely like Alawi and Ziggs, this was last set, so don't worry if you don't know what these units are. If you didn't get certain 5 costs on your board, the comp didn't even get top 4. But if you got everything working for you, then you can play for like 1/2, right? But obviously, so it's a very like high rolly comp. That's how the Kaisa board feels like, right? Kaisa isn't that strong on her own, right? She's really strong when you have a Xayah, right? So you really need to hit the Xayah. If you high roll the Xayah, then it's good. But if you don't high roll the Xayah and you don't high roll the upgrades on your bruisers, right? So if you don't get like Silas, Galio, like all of that shit going, like it just doesn't work out, right? And like the max cap of like the Xayah comp with the Xayah Kaisa comp with like the extra Dragon Lords as well, it's like it's a very firstable comp, right? If you hit Xayah 2, Kaisa 2, Galio 2, Silas 2, everything else upgraded, it's like, yeah, you're gonna go first. But if you don't hit all of those, you can hit Kaisa 2, Galio 2, Silas 2, and if you don't have a Xayah and you're stuck on level 8, there's a good chance you're going 5th compared to like some of the other comps, right? Compared to something like the Ashe comp, where you can just like have an Annie 2 and an Ashe 1 and you can probably make it to 9 and be stable, right? But then again, like if you hit it and you're uncontested, it's pretty good, right? I just find like out of the 4 cost comps, it's a bit more sway, right? Like you can probably play for like a 4th. I'm obviously like, what I'm saying is not 100% like always the case, right? But it's like that's how it kind of feels in a lot of the cases, if that makes sense. I got a lesser dupe, which is kind of useless to me because the only one I'm going for is YORICK. I literally found the YORICK in shop. I'm not even gonna buy the YORICK because I'm leveling to 8 and I'm gonna get it for free. Right? I level 8 on 4-1 because I'm pretty rich, right? So the leveling here, even though it costs 1 gold, so a lot of times you hear like level on 4-2, do this on 4-1, blah blah blah, right? The reason you level on 4-1 is because if you're like relatively contested and you're rich enough, you can just roll on this stage, and if you hit the units that you want, it will make you like way stronger, right? It's more like an HP preservation, right? For me, leveling to 8 and rolling here, I'm still 30 gold. So it's like it's almost as if I rolled on 4-2. I'm a little bit less efficient with my gold. Obviously, I'm gonna lose 2 gold of interest. So I'm gonna lose 2 gold and then 3 gold. So it's like, you know, I lose like maybe like, I don't know. Let's estimate this adventure of leveling on 4-1 cost me 10 gold. I did get a YORICK 3 on the level up, and it should have made me really strong. Now I just get railed by this guy, which I don't even know how, but obviously he's just playing the Janna board. He probably has way better combat, and as you can see, this is probably YORICK 3. Even though I have a YORICK 3, he kind of didn't really do anything. He did a little bit. My back line's kind of bad. My front line's like kind of eh. My synergies aren't the best, right? I'm 4 Behemoth, which isn't that important. I am 2 Sniper. Obviously, whenever you play the Ashe board, like this isn't like the best Ashe board. I'm just keeping it Exalted. And now I'm rolling again a little bit, just because I'm trying to like hit some sort of upgrade. I have Kaisa paired and I have the Xayah. If I hit Kaisa 2, I'll play Kaisa 2 because I already have the Xayah. The problem is I don't like playing this Kaisa board because now I won't be able to play Bruiser properly. In my head, I'm thinking like I might as well just like play towards like these Behemoths, and I need to switch out 1 Behemoth for somebody else. But in my head, I'm thinking like I'd probably rather play towards Ashe anyways, because there's other people that were playing Kaisa in this lobby, if I'm not mistaken. But I do have 2 Kaisas and 1 Xayah. I just don't want to sell the Ashe and swap the items over unless I hit the Kaisa 2, right? I think Ashe 1 in this setup is stronger than Kaisa 1 in this setup, if that makes sense. Because the thing is, like right now I'm playing 5 Behemoth. If I play Kaisa, she doesn't really do much unless you play 4 Trick Shot. So I'd have to convert my board to 4 trick shot, which is just like feels bad. I should be strong enough to go 9 here though. I am exalted as well. Volibear is on the team just because of what's it called? I mean, Kaisa, I get the Ink Shadow item. It might have been play Kaisa. You know what the problem was? Last game, I hit Kaisa 2 and a Zaya, and I played 2 trick shot with Caretaker's Yorick, and it just did not do shit all. Like, it was just so bad, right? Oh, I think I'm rolling because I saw somebody. Oh, I remember this game. I wasn't paying attention to the scouting, but there is somebody that's like insanely strong, and I am like very contested on both lines, right? Like, and I think in this game there was like a Kaisa player and an Ashe player. Oh, this is the Ashe player, yeah. So I'm just trying, like, there's a boiling point Ashe player. So I don't want to, yeah, I just sell the Kaisas because I have no faith in the Kaisa unit unless you're playing the 4 trick shot. And because I have this Yorick 3, I find it's a lot harder to play around the Kaisa. Usually you should be flexible to pivot into the Kaisa pair. But for me, it's like, whatever. I use my lesser dupe because I don't really need it for anything. I use it to just get gold, so I make 20 here. Yeah, I'm rolling pretty aggressively. The reason I'm rolling aggressively is because last game, I lost because of this, like, setup with, like, Yorick and Kaisa. I was playing Yorick Hero Augment the other game, though. And I'm just trying to make sure that I, like, salvage this game. Ashe on Carousel for me, that's great. I think it's Scuttle Puddle as well. So you see how, like, I'm rolling really deep and I'm not really hitting. Like, I know I hit Kaisa pair and something. I'm thinking if I should switch to Irelia in this case. That's why I'm holding the Irelia. But I really want to hit, like, an Ashe to stabilize, because it's really hard to go 9 because, like, as you can see, I'm scrolling through. There's, like, a Gnar 3 player. There's the other player that is playing Kaisa that hit. There's the player that's playing Ashe that didn't hit but is playing Ashe as well. Now I'm Ashe paired, so it's pretty much like a Sendit situation. Set's not that great here. Okay, I have Ashe 2 now. I have 5 Behemoth, and I'm thinking I can just play the Aatrox for an Ink Shadow item, which helps my Ashe. So I should play it over. Oh no, it's just a protection for him. It's still a whole item, that's fine. I remake, and I get Warmogs. I was trying to see if I remake and I get anything that I can slam on Ashe. Namely, I think I'm just Hail Marying for, like, Guard Breaker. But I slam Warmogs to make sure that I'm strong. I probably lose to the Gnar player. Yeah, the Gnar player just wrapped my backline for some reason instead of attacking the dude right in front. I guess because the Ornn wrapped around. So that was kind of sad. I'm pretty sure if this Gnar is on my... Oh, do I still win? Oh, nice, I still win. I was going to say, if the Gnar is on my my Yorick, I definitely beat this guy. Yeah, now I feel more stable to go 9. Like, rolling deep is sometimes not the greatest thing. Obviously, I'm, like, throwing away a lot of potential placements rolling deep there. The problem is just, like, I want to make sure that I hit this Ashe 2. Because going 9 and then hoping to hit the Ashe on 9, a lot of times you just don't hit. And then it's just miserable. And then you have, like, no carry. In this type of setup, because it's, like, pretty flexible, you could just play Irelia. That's why I was holding on to the Irelia. Irelia with Guinsoo and Deathblade is kind of okay. And Irelia 2 still does a shit ton of damage, even though it got nerfed a lot of times. If you have, like, a stall-worthy comp, so kind of like this, her AoE does do a lot of damage and can make it work, right? Here, this actually might work out. I think I was aiming for, like, 4 Sniper, right? Because, like, I don't really need the Aatrox. He doesn't really do much for the front line. I have an Ornn 2. I have an Udyr already, right? So my setup's pretty okay. I am heavily playing around Exalted, obviously, because I'm keeping in the Volibear, but it does synergize well, right? Because I have the Yorick 3 that's Exalted that's always going to be on my board. A lot of times, like, this Exalted is harder to play around because you don't want to play a Yorick on your board, but Yorick's my main tank, so it's fine. And I feel, like, pretty strong, right? So you can see, like, a lot of the fights were really dodgy, and then, like, I rolled deep for this Ashe, and now all the fights are very smooth sailing. That's why I kind of went for it. I just wanted to guarantee a top 4, right? I could have probably made it to level 9 by just, like, sitting with the Ashe 1, and as soon as I hit, like, the Udyr. But yeah, I did roll pretty aggressively this stage, so I'm not, my level 9 is going to be pretty delayed. But that's fine. Level 9 might... I need Porcelain in as well. It's probably it's definitely a Moo over the Senna right now. Actually, Senna's Ink Shadow. Is it ever drop Exalted? It's probably drop Exalted, honestly. Tattoo of Protection is really, really good. So I don't think I ever want to drop Ink Shadow. All right, and then Runans is good. Runans is good, yeah. Ash with Runan's Gwinsu is actually like really good in the stats, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Yeah, Runans is really good. Here, I'll show you the stats just to see. It's like Last Whisper Runans, you can see it over there. It's really good. It's just good whenever you have like stacking attack speed. Runans attacks one extra person, so it's like spreading damage. So like Gwinsu Runans is always like a really nice combo. As well as like if you have any sort of like, you know, if you have like, you know, probably like a max cap, it's not Gwinsu and it's red buff, because red buff just gives bonus damage and a lot of starting attack speed. And really late game, your fights don't last as long because all the units are like super like souped up. Oh, I tempo leveled here just to throw in Porcelain. Is Porcelain better than Force Sniper? I think not, right? Porcelain just gives like 30 starting attack speed. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's not like giga good, right? I also have Martyr, which is really good for behemoths. I don't know, I feel like my board worked out pretty well. I'm debating if I put in Irelia. I have Shred, so I don't need Irelia. I think Porcelain is probably better than Force Sniper. Like, Force Sniper would be kind of nuts here, just in terms of like damage output, but Porcelain is just so important, I feel, for Ash, because the starting attack speed is so good. I should have tried it out. If there's a comp where I struggle with damage, like here I'm not struggling with damage, right? It's more like my Ash wants to ramp up. If there's a comp where I struggle with damage, I should definitely hold on to like an Aphelios and try and like tech in the Aphelios just in case. Because I actually don't know. Because like, you know, it's hard to crunch the number, because Ash really wants attack speed. That's why she works really well with Porcelain. But yeah, as we can see, I'm pretty stable. I have good HP. I spent a lot of time saving my HP. This guy with the boiling point, he has Lux 3, Ash 2, and a Lysandra. He's 100% gonna win out. Boiling point, even though they nerfed it, it's still very strong. The Porcelain trade and the Porcelain units are all strong in their own right? Lux does a shit ton of damage if you play around Lux. Ash is one of the best AD carries in the game, if not the best AD carry in the game. And then Lysandra is like the most broken unit in the game. She got slightly nerfed. Maybe she's not as broken now, but for the longest time, like especially all of last patch, she was like the best unit, right? By far. Like it wasn't even close. So if you play towards like 4 Porcelain and you're playing all the Porcelain units, you're pretty much in a good spot, I would say. Oh, this guy has Wukong 2, Azir 2. Oh yeah, I'm checking his augments, because he just went fast 9 and just hit everything. Right, which is crazy. Like if you look at his board, he just has all 5 costs upgraded, and there's a Porcelain spat. Hopefully, I would like the Porcelain spat, because then I can play Porcelain without the thing. Do I take it? Okay, I take it. Oh, but you know what the problem is? I'll probably play Lysandra, because Lysandra is good. Yeah, it's drop Sniper and play 4 Porcelain now, but then I lose my Ink Shadow item. So, but I could put Porcelain Emblem on my dude. I think that's the play, right? Yeah, I think 4 Porcelain is way better than... It has to be. It has to be way better than 4 Sniper. Yeah, now I just put that on Udyr. Yeah. This has to be stronger, for sure. Ooh, Udyr 2. Nice. See, the thing is, like, realistically, I have 3 items on this, what's his name? This YORIK. wouldn't it just be stronger to put all these items on Udyr anyways? Like, I'm putting triple item on Yorick, and I think that's like a huge downfall here, because like clearly this guy would be stronger on the 3 item on a Udyr too, right? Okay, this guy's so strong. He even has a way to do some like non-single target damage, and he got a mythic emblem. Yeah, as you can see with Boiling Point, the extra mana makes it so that Lux keeps casting. And the casting is not only the damage that the Lux 3 does, it's also the stun that she does, right? Because Boiling Point gives like the extra attack speed, and if you make it to like this late game scenario where you're 4 Porcelain, Lux is really good as a utility unit as well, right? A lot of times you look at Lux and you think, oh, she's like the one shot, like bowling, like, you know, rolling the bowling ball and winning out type beat. But she can absolutely like screw up an entire board, right? It's like I kind of get hard countered here. In a way, you can look at it like that, because I'm getting hit by this Lux that basically stuns my Ashe, and my Ashe is all about attacking, and my Ashe keeps getting hit because I don't have like enough backline units to bait it out, right? I think in that matchup, it's probably better just to play 4 Sniper and drop 2 Porcelains. Do I win this fight? But yeah, this is just me playing around. This was more of a for fun game, right? Obviously, if I didn't take Caretakers, I didn't have this Yorick 3. It might even be sell the Yorick 3 and just swap the items over anyways, honestly. The thing is, because my Ornn lives long enough, the Udyr gets the 3 items anyway, so it's not worth it to just be down like a whole resource, you know? Oh wait, it's Crab Rave, right? It's not actually Scuttle Puddle, or is it Scuttle? If it's Crab Rave, this is so good for me, because like they won't in Crab Rave, like usually if you have a 3-star unit, you usually beat the crab, and if you don't have a 3-star unit, the crab like 100% fucking rails you. Oh yes, it's Crab Rave. Oh shit. Okay, so they guaranteed like 3rd. I think everybody dies here except for me. Oh, one thing to note, I don't know if they fixed this bug because I didn't see it in the patch notes. Lysandra, if you're playing in Scuttle Puddle or Crab Rave, take out the Lysandra, because if the Lysandra, there was a bug, I don't know if they fixed it, but just to be safe, if Lysandra puts the guy in the pot, and he dies in the pot, then you lose 1 component, because the Lysandra will drop something and then you won't get the component anvil. That's a bug that happens sometimes. I don't know if it still happens, but just be wary of it. I was talking about it on stream when I was playing this game. You definitely want to put the Lysandra on the bench, because you could just lose the thing. And yeah, 2 people died, so it's a guaranteed 3rd, which is good. I'm contesting the other guy. I think has Lux 2, or has Lysandra 2, so it's gonna be really hard for me to find this copy of Lysandra with minimal gold. Probably, yeah, some kind of Crown Guard or Titans. Probably Crown Guard. I think I slammed it too late. No, I slammed it early enough. Nice, but it's probably always a 3rd here. This Yorick doesn't really do that much, but at the same time, selling the Yorick doesn't make my board stronger, right? I can move the items, and the items are better on somebody else, but it's kind of like an average thing, right? Like if I had Yorick 3 no items, and like you know what I mean, like it would be better just to replace like a lot of my front line. I could just drop down to 2 Behemoth and play more 5-cost units. But it's kind of like a little bit difficult to like justify selling a Yorick 3 to move items over to like completely like gut my entire board, because Yorick's also exalted, so then I need a replacement Yorick probably with the way I set up my board. So you know, it's not the highest cap of this comp that you can play, but obviously, like, you know, I'm not beating the Boiling Point guy. As you can see, the Boiling Point guy, he's like 80 HP, win streaking. Everybody else is like low HP. Very, very strong board, right? Very hard to beat. I try my best to position. So when I position here, I was kind of tilted because I put my Ashe in this corner close to the Lux side. I thought the Lux was gonna, like, I think I should have put my Caitlyn strictly in the corner and then my Ashe kind of in the middle. I thought the Lux was gonna target here, right? Because I counted the hexes, and I was like, oh, my Amumu will walk here, and the Lux will shoot this way instead of shooting this way. And what happened was my Amumu walked. If you watch the VOD, I'll go back just to explain the concept, right? I'll just go back slightly. I was kind of tilted because if you look here, do you see how my unit's like, my unit didn't wrap, right? So look, I put all my units like this, right? And I was anticipating like, okay, Amumu and this will walk like here and here based on like the other guy's positioning, right? So if you look at where the units are, right? There's this Amumu here. And it's kind of, I guess it's like a 50-50 if you walk. I guess it is closer to walk this way, the pathing. I don't remember this Amumu being there. Did I just mess up? I think he moved it, and I just didn't. I got my ankles broken. Let's see. No, the Amumu was always there. He moved the Nautilus. That's what happened. So he moved the Nautilus, and it made the gap that made it hard for my guy to walk up. Yeah, that makes sense. There was a gap here then. But yeah, so I figured that, like, I looked and I'm like, this distance versus this distance, but this Ash should have been here. That was my mistake. And then it wouldn't have been targeted first. But the problem was, like, I think it still gets targeted second, and I lose the fight. Because I'm just trying not to get stunned. Look at how many times look at my Ashe. Every time, as soon as my Ashe attacks, she gets stunned. Right? And my Udyr didn't stun this, so it just sucked. So I just lost. But that's fine. This board was going to be very hard to beat. He not only has really good Ashe items, he has really good everything items, right? Everything is worked out. That's like a Scuttle Puddle high roll kind of game for that guy. So, you know, it's a third. Anyways, hopefully this was an entertaining video. Maybe you guys can try taking Caretakers in your games if you're looking for a little bit of a fun game that's not too, like, out there in terms of its craziness, right? It's a really fun augment, right? I think these are those augments where they're fun. You can high roll, you can low roll, but it doesn't ruin your game, right? It's not like oh, I'm gonna take, like, I don't know, branching out, and then you get like a fucking, like, some fucked up emblem and your game's like kind of really bad, right? Or like you take the dummy and you get like really bad traits on your dummy, and it's like, how do I use this? Caretakers is really flexible. Like, there's a lot of units that you can hit with, and you can kind of structure your game around that, and it's pretty good. Anyways, thank you for watching. As always, oh, I forgot to put the thing. I'll put it right now. Since we reached our subscriber goal, we will be doing a TFT RP giveaway. Yay! So what you have to do is you have to be subscribed to the YouTube. You'll join my Discord. You'll enter the giveaway in the Discord, and this will end May 5th. So basically, you'll go to the video. I'll put in the comments as well, but in the description, you can click the Discord. There'll be a link to the Discord, and then once you get into my Discord, which is the Wolfgang Discord, there is in the text channels a TFT giveaway channel. You will go to this channel, and then you will enter the giveaway using this button right here. The giveaway, I decided, is going to be 2 winners of 475 RP. So good luck. The giveaway ends on May 5th. So the winners will be selected in the Discord, and then I'll contact you in Discord in order to get like your Riot account and all of that, so that I could gift you it through the client. Thank you, and happy watching.